everyone, welcome. It's Jeneth Blacker. Welcome to the special 4-part video series on the plays of our business and the plays to create a 7-figure business. Now, you may be wondering why I'm dressed up like a referee with a whistle. Well, because what I really learned about business is we didn't need to add things to our life. We need to add play to our life. And that's why today I'm going to show you the 13 plays that we utilize in my business that add many, multiple income streams. And we're also going to talk about how we can really be the amazing contribution that we truly be in business when we are in play. One of the first times that I really thought about money and how money was used in my life was like if somebody had a football and they threw me the football, then I would catch the football and play with it, and then I take the football and move on. And then people knew that I would pass the ball and that I would play with the flow of money. Well, this isn't just about playing with the flow of money. This is about playing in your business and ultimately your life, so that you can be the contribution and change so many other people's lives. Now, please remember that this is my plan of how I have asked the question, followed the energy, and really allowed universe, consciousness, and everything to allow my business to be in flow. So when I go down these, don't get overwhelmed or feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do all that. I want you to really look at this as, great, how can I play with this? Now, I also, as plays and some of this juiciness of the football plays come up, I want you to comment below and make sure that you comment below and interact with others as you can, because let's face it, we're building a community and each question is a contribution to the next. So if you have questions about how, great. If you have questions about why, great. If you have a question about how much, great. I'm happy to answer anything that you have. Just comment below. I'm going to share this in terms of how I do it in my business. So I'm going to put up some generic words, but I'm also going to tell you about how I utilize this in my business. Now, I want to briefly share with you my story, because this isn't the first time that I've shown up on camera. It's not the first time I've shown up giving 13 plays in business. Well, maybe it is for that. But let me tell you, how did I become an entrepreneur? How did I get in front of this camera, or behind it, if you would call behind the lens of it? So back in 2005, was working in corporate. I was doing the daily grind, wasn't so happy doing that. And one moment on a Wednesday afternoon, like God just threw a big anvil on my head and literally told me to walk away. And what it looked like was me not going to the bathroom or even thinking about my body all day. And I walk into the bathroom and I have these people just questioning me. And I suddenly go, okay, I'm not answering your question, but I will walk away. So I walked out of my corporate job that day, got in my car, tears just pouring down my face, sweat pouring out of my body. And I asked the question and I said, is this really the life that I lead? The universe, God, and everything's like, yes. And it hurt. And then the next thing I hear is walk away. And I walked away from my corporate job that day. And I started in business doing some nutrition work. I am a degreed nutritionist and started to do that work with clients. I realized they had all this emotional stuff going on in their world and couldn't even follow a simple food plan. Now I have changed many people's lives in the area of conscious change and really changing their energy. And I've also grown a 7-figure business And I've simply followed the energy to find solutions for people on an energetic level and followed the energy on a business level and in my entire life these days. And I want to show you how to grow a business that is just one of play, one of joy, and one that will change many, many people's lives because you are that contribution that you truly be. So without further ado, now remember, comment below, but without further ado, let me show you these 13 plays so that you can get into really creating a business of your dreams and a business that you truly love coming to work every day, and everyone that you're with loves coming to see you every day. So let's get started. So where did my business start? So back in 2005, when I had that big awakening of, well, people aren't following what I'm telling them with this meal plan. So maybe, and what if I were to look at the emotional side of things? That suddenly then became an entire book. So the first place I started was with my book, 7 Dragons, A Guide to a Limitless Mind, which really ended up being a big instant success. I was on the Martha Stewart radio for 8 months. I was on TV interviews, lots of publicity around it. So a great place to start with your initial content for changing people's lives is with an ebook or a book. So play number 1 is what I call the e-book and the book play. And in this book, you can take and write your biggest, most profound things. And also think of your book as like big 12 to 24 concepts or ideas so that you can utilize it in other kinds of marketing. And I'll share with you how I utilize a big part of the book and the concepts around the book to feed all the traffic coming into it, which is what we're going to share on the next video, is really how to create an audience for your plays. All right, so number 2. So while I'm doing the book in making and creating money so I can make money right away, which is always a great thing, is I used to do one-on-one consulting. Actually, I still do. This time it was really a low cost price because this was a lead-in for people to join my world. So we had this at maybe $150 a session way back in the day, which is now nearly $1,000 a session. So that's what I advise you to do if you're a a coach, a consultant, and even anybody that just can help and support in some way to change people's lives. A healer is another way. So from this place, I had this fun idea. I simply said, universe, what can we add? What kind of plays can we add? Universe came back, well, what if you take the concepts which are in the book and the journaling which is in the book and put it in a live event? So I went right to doing a live event at that time, in which case, I marketed it here in town, just tried to get a lot of speaking gigs and other things, and speaking we'll talk about in a minute, so that really we could get people to be a part of this and be a part of this movement, which then was the 7 Dragons movement. So now in live events, not only do we have this one little small group in town, but now we market it online with hundreds of thousands of people, and people come to the events, and we have sponsors that are at the events, and that adds another income stream to our playbook. And sponsors have so many benefits when they sponsor a live event. It's not just exposure, but we have speaker sponsors which can show up and share their message with you. And it also allows them to really be a part of your world and be a contribution in that way. So then in adding more and just wanting to grow these things, I get this wise idea back in 2009 to get 21 personal development people and speakers together to change the world. And I called it at the time a telesummit, but we're going to use the word summit just for the sake of play, because a telesummit is a little more defined than just a summit. So creating some kind of online event, in this case, it was getting people all on the phone on a huge conference line to change their energy, to transform their world, and to grow my list and grow my world and grow my credibility. So that was the next step that I took, which is a great lead-in for a lot more people to fill my events, to fill my single coaching practice at a higher level with more credibility, and the story flows on. So what's the next play? So the next play for me was to get out and speak on other people's stages, speak at other people's events, speak to be paid to speak to sell product, which we'll talk about in just a minute. So there's this whole nother play around speaking, and really how can we come to stage and be a paid speaker, or be a speaker on another person's stage, or be a sponsor, which is just another way to show up and play at other people's events so that people know what you're all about and the contribution that you truly be. All right, so what's the next play? The next play from showing up in these ways is to do some online stuff. So there can be a lot of different ways to do it. First, for the sake of simplicity, I'm calling it group coaching. And this is just getting people all together and coaching them. We do this in a membership site. You don't have to. Some people do it in 6-month programs. Some people do it where they have a training and then Q&A. So it's group coaching with training. Lots of different ways to play with that. I'm doing a course right now called Naked, which is really about training for them so that they can have the energetics experiences of being truly embodied in all that they be. And we are, people are able to call in and ask their question. So in some way that's grouping as well. Then once Naked is done, then we're going to put it all together in a digital product, so that we can put it in our shopping cart. And for those people that maybe I have them on a one-on-one, or maybe they're in another grouping coach program, and I can say, hey, there's a whole program that I created around this. You should get that because it'll transform you in this area. And then I've got other coaching programs that'll transform you in another area. One of my coaching programs is called Sexy Money, and it's about really transforming the energies that's keeping you from really, truly receiving in your life. So from that, let's talk a little bit about affiliates and bringing affiliates into play so that they'll fill some of these, help you fill. There's 2 different ways to play with affiliates. One way would be that you mail for them with their link and you make money that way. The other way is to get affiliates to mail for you so that you can get opt-ins, people on your list, and sell products to their people. So there's 2 ways to play as affiliates. In some way, the people that were on the summit were speaker affiliates, and there's that way to play as well. So there's a few other ways that we can play together. Once you have a strong audience and a strong following, what I like to do is, especially if they've been in a group coaching program, I'll let certain people into my membership programs. They have to have done something with me. And then what it is it's continuing education, continual development for them. And my membership program is called HOT, and it's the Inner Circle. And we get on the phone twice a month, and we just, bring and start up a topic. I'll start, taking them down a path, and then I'll open them up to a question for them so that I do what seems like group coaching, except it's more in a membership forum. And then moving on, we're going to talk about certification and advanced certification. So what that looks like in my world is I'm bringing people into this world as a change agent. And we already have certified a master change agent, and right now a visionary program where we're certifying the basic change agent certification system so that people can work as I work. They can learn how to do the energy transformation work that I do. So in the certification, there's a certain set of things that they have to do. One of the things that we do is what I call visioneering, which is a high-level group coaching. And then they have to take 2 of my online programs, and they have to come to 2 of my live events, which is, we've got 3 this year: Origins, Wings, and Crazy Rich and Free to Be. So that's how they have to take a certain criteria to become even qualified to be certified as a Jeneth change agent. And then of course I have an advanced certification where there's other criteriums of what they have to do. And in some way, the higher people that are going for the masters are supporting the ones in the basic so that they get, doubly exposed to the change agent program for 1. And for 2, that's my way of letting them be the contribution back to my world. So lastly, what we've added to the business, and I'm really excited about this because it's also going in with my whole new book. We're adding merchandise, and we're bringing in a shoe line into my company. And we sold charms. We had these cool question mark necklaces so that people remembered to stay in the question. We have these dragon charms that went with the dragon book, and just to have them wearing something so that they remember to be in the question and they remember to change and transform their dragons, and so that they are inspired to change. This also works 2-way because they also remember where they got that, and they remember the energy of what it was like to be at one of my events. So those are the 13 plays. So in the next video, what we're going to talk about is really not just putting all these plays together, but how do we really create the audience for our football plays? How do we bring in more people? They call it traffic in the online world. That's not as fun as bringing in an audience. And then after that video, we're going to talk about ticket sales and really how to amp up some of the sales in some of your work so that you really truly transform lives. So again, comment below. Love to hear from you. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to see you in my world. And until next time, I hope you have just a wonderful, fulfilling day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye, everyone.